Welcome and good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Barbara Budd, and I'm the Volunteer and Education Manager for the Superior Hiking Trail Association. Also here is Trail Operations Director Tamer Abraham. We'll be covering volunteer opportunities on the trail with the SHTA for this year. And if something goes by too quickly, or if you have friends who want to watch, this webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website and YouTube channel soon. And the link will be emailed to everyone who is registered. But there's one thing we need to say before we start talking about projects, and that's thank you. 2026 is the Superior Hiking Trail's 40th anniversary. And since its inception in 1986, this has been a trail built and maintained by volunteers. The time, energy, labor, and enthusiasm you contribute makes the trail what it is today. And we'll continue to rely on you to help us keep the SHT a beautiful and sustainable trail for the next 40 years. Whether you've been maintaining a campsite or section for decades, or you're just starting to learn what it's like to volunteer on the SHT, you're our heroes. So thank you. We have some tangible ways of seeing thanks too. As you volunteer, your hours will be recorded, and you'll be eligible for awards like t-shirts, buffs, lunch bags, and more. Plus, anytime you come out, we'll have stickers and that you can use to show folks that you're an awesome SHTA volunteer. For our 40th anniversary, we have some really exciting new projects and some oldies but goodies. Tonight, we'll talk about this summer's exciting large group projects, section and campsite adoption, ways to volunteer that don't require using a shovel or lopper, including ambassadors, blazing, administrative opportunities, and some training opportunities. And at the end, we'll have time for Q&A. So please pop your questions in the Q&A function found at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and we'll answer as many as we can. And we have a new timeline this year, which is really fun. We now have a volunteer event scheduled every weekend all summer, except for 4th of July weekend. So hopefully this will allow folks to have more opportunity to be involved based on your own schedule. And don't worry, for those of you who prefer weekdays, there are still opportunities to show up during the week. And now I'm going to turn it over to Tamer to talk about this summer's projects.
So the first big project and event that we have in the spring is clearing weekends. And each year we assemble crews of hardy volunteers in the early spring to tackle a huge and supremely important job, and that is to clear all the winter blowdown off the SHT. Volunteers are an integral part of that effort, attending multiple clearing events and also clearing sections on their own by way of a sign-up sheet. And they do that on their own time. This year, we have 3 weekend clearing events, one at Corky, which is in the Duluth Two Harbors area. That one is May 2nd to 3rd. Another one at the Finland Community Center, working in that area, and that is May 16th to 17th. And the final one is in Grand Marais on May 30th to 31st. And these events are a great opportunity for new sawyers to work alongside more experienced sawyers, and for people interested in becoming certified sawyers to come and see what it's like. Or if you have no interest in becoming a sawyer and you just want to come help, that's great too. But these events are also great just for anybody dying to hit the trail after a long, difficult northern Minnesota winter. So it's always fun, a fun community building event that has been popular for so many reasons. So come join the fun. Next on our list is Dare We Say It, the Split Rock River Bridge. Whether you know any of the history or not, I will fill you in a little bit, the Split Rock River Bridge has been out. It was removed due to concerns over its safety in 2017. That was the last bridge that was across the river. And now that the loop has finally been renewed, um, it's time to replace the bridge. So doing so will be a major undertaking due to the remote location and the many components to this project. Um, these include constructing new trail on both sides of the river um, that go from the end of the existing loop to the new bridge site, building the abutments for the new bridge, and then installing the bridge. So there's about 400 feet of trail on each side of the river for a total of 800 feet of new trail. And the abutments for the bridge have to be completed ahead of time to allow the concrete enough time to cure before setting the bridge on top. And the abutment consists of a concrete footing, timber cribbing, and a concrete cap. And as you might imagine, the installation must be perfectly exact in order for the bridge to fit. um, and then the bridge will be a 55-foot long fiber reinforced polymer, or FRP. And those are the bridges that you may have seen at near a lot of the waysides on the hiking trail. And they're fairly easy to install and very satisfying. But just a word of warning that dropping tools in the river is not allowed. Um, Keeping with the bridge theme, which is kind of one of our big themes for the next 2 years, we will be replacing a bridge just outside of Grand Marais on a tributary of the Devil Track River. Um, Last fall, about a year and a half ago, we were treated to a wonderful surprise when the U.S. Forest Service notified us that the bridge over the tributary of the Devil Track River was unsafe and declared an immediate closure on the bridge and eventually removed it. This gave us really no time to plan any sort of um, messaging or anything. And we had already kind of applied for all our funding. So we've been scrambling to try and figure out how we would fit it into our schedule and pay for it. So we've made it this far. We've got the funding, we've got the dates set. Now it's up to you. Um, and this bridge will be located in the same spot as the last one, so we don't have to build any new trail. We'll have an separate event for building the concrete, the abutments, and concrete may or may not be involved in this particular installation. And then there's going to be a separate project to install the bridge. This one has fairly easy access compared to the Split Rock River Bridge. It's probably about less than a half-mile hike to the site. Then I think for the second or third year now, we've been having a number of backpacking projects. Excuse me, and these are for those hardy individuals who love to carry everything they need on their backs. Um, and this is the perfect volunteer opportunity, a weekend backpacking adventure. So pack all your food, overnight gear, and other essentials, grab a tool or two, and hit the trail. The crews are typically smaller and perform targeted maintenance and other project work in locations that are typically a little more remote. So it makes it's a good setup to have crews camped out nearby. This year there will be 4 backpack projects, and one of them will be a FEM only project. Um, and the locations of these projects will be either at Split Rock in support of the work there, the bridge abutment and trail construction, or at Bean and Bear, where we'll be tuning up a few items that were not completed last year. And there is a possibility that one of the projects might be at Cascade if we get all the other things on our list done.
And we'll cover the All Fem project a little bit in just a minute or two.
So, we there's always a lot of things going on in Duluth, and this year, things are going to be structured a little differently. With the retirement of our former seasonal maintenance contractor, Larry Sampson, uh, this year we've got uh, four different projects that are about 5 days long and then some shorter ones. Um, Larry is coming back as a volunteer crew leader, and he's going to be leading a couple smaller projects that he has particular interest in. One of them is on a tributary of Miller Creek, and the project there will build a new 24-foot structure across a small tributary of the creek and build a small reroute to move the trail away from some very large and drooping trees. Um, and there might be some other routine maintenance in the area that would get done at the same time. And then we have the new Southern contractor, Joe Baker, who some of you may know. He's been working as a volunteer crew leader with the SHTA at lots of projects the last 4 or 5 years. Um, and so he will be leading 4 5-day projects, one each month from June to September, and then a few other ones of shorter duration. And these projects will significantly improve some of the worst sections of the trail in Duluth, focusing on repairing erosion, installing steps of both timber and stone, and performing basic tread rehab. And not all the locations have been identified yet, but one of them is a major puncheon replacement project where volunteers will build around 500 feet of new puncheon in the Magny-Snively area. Other things that we have typically been doing in Duluth is we run crews of um, volunteer weed whippers. Um, and so you can become a part of the legendary one and only Duluth weed whipping crew. These are the only this is the only area that we have volunteers running weed whippers on the trail. So if if this is an interest to you, this is your chance. And all the sections from the of the SHT from the southern terminus to Martin Road are weed whipped by many dedicated volunteers and led by volunteer crew leaders. Crews break into teams of about 2 to 6 people, and you may find yourself either running a gas powered string trimmer or carrying hand tools like loppers or small saws. Either way, the goal is the same: cutting back new growth of brush and herbaceous vegetation so that the trail corridor stays clear and open. This is a very important task. Um, and this year we'll be tweaking the schedule a little bit to hopefully allow more folks to be involved. There will be full days on Tuesdays. Um, there'll be Wednesday evenings, and then that has been really successful. So we're also adding Thursday evenings as well. And look for these events on our volunteer calendar.
Well, backed by popular demand and created in partnership with unrulywomen.org, these all fem projects are open to female identifying or femme leaning non binary individuals. And as in the past few years, we have 2 car camping weekends. This year, one at Cascade River Loop, where we will continue tread improvements started last year. And then the Wild Valley Boardwalk, where we'll build a short new wooden structure over a muddy part of trail. So to continue building skills, we also now have a 3-day backpack trail maintenance event in the mix that Tamara mentioned earlier. And this crew will complete work on the Split Rock River reroute to prepare it for the bridge build. So it's exciting to have the backpack trip in the mix as well. Now, those are our summer projects. So now we're going to move on to some opportunities that, while perhaps not so high profile, are just as important. The projects you just heard about are are large group projects. And for those of you who would like to volunteer on an individual basis instead of in a large group, here are some areas that might interest you. Section adopters take on a section of trail, completing basic trail maintenance, including lopping back brush to keep people on the trail, and replacing signs as needed so folks don't get lost, inspecting structures to make sure they're still safe to use, and reporting back what they find to the SHTA. SHTA provides tools. You provide your time and energy at least twice a year, once in the spring before June 1, and once in the fall before November 1st. Now, do you love finding a clean, welcoming campsite when you backpack? Our campsite adopters make that happen. They go out twice a year to clean the fire pit, maintain the trails to and from the latrine, pick up trash, and make note of any hazard trees, among other things. There's more information, including job descriptions for both section and campsite adopting on our volunteer page, which is superiorhiking.org/volunteer. And each year we have a few sections and campsites open up. So we'll fill openings this spring, starting with our waiting list from last year and moving to those who indicate interest this year. So if you're interested in adopting, you can sign up on our wait list by going to our volunteer page and clicking on Adopt a Section or Campsite, and the waitlist link will be there. Go ahead and put your name in that. You can indicate what section of the trail you're interested in or anything else that you might want to there, and we will be in touch when something opens up. We have lots of ways, old and new, where you can help out if you don't want to head out on the trail with a lopper or a shovel. And here's one. Over the next few years, our goal is to replace the entire trail. If you're interested in getting blue paint on your clothes, oh, wait, no, I mean blue paint on the trees along the trail, then this is the task for you. The best way to find out about when blazing opportunities arise is to sign up for Boots on the Ground. That's our monthly volunteer newsletter. Along with all of the other opportunities in this webinar, we'll put out a call for blazes in the newsletter. So watch for that this spring and the summer. If you do want to sign up for Boots on the Ground to find out about blazing and some other things, go to the volunteer page, superiorhiking.org/volunteer, and there'll be a link to sign up there. Now, last year, trail ambassadors staffed 28 tables at busy trailheads, answering questions about the SHT and educating users about Leave No Trace. And we're looking for outgoing volunteers who have some basic knowledge of the trail and are willing to attend a one-day training about Leave No Trace to represent the SHT on the trail. And that training happens in the winter, so watch for it in Boots on the Ground. And then in addition, we also need some help providing information to hikers and to staff tables at various events. And that can happen anywhere from the Twin Cities to the North Shore. So if you're interested in that, you can drop me a note at volunteer@superiorhiking.org. Now, remember all those projects that Tamara talked about? We provide dinners for volunteers who attend those multi-day events. But in order to do that, we need camp cooks. The meals are simple and easy to prepare, and SHTA does the shopping. We've got a full camp kitchen for you to use. And best of all, you have your days free to lounge in camp or take a day hike or two. So this is a great way to support the program without having to swing a tool. But if you really want to do both, you're welcome to do, say, a half a day of trail work and then go back to camp to prep dinner. If you're interested in cooking, please do drop me a note at volunteer@superiorhiking.org. Now, we have several volunteers who help us in our store and office in Two Harbors, from updating our first aid kits, like you can see here, to assisting with administrative tasks. We have two current needs. Starting in May, we will need a couple of more volunteers than we currently have to help in our trail store. Primarily on Fridays, perhaps also on some Thursdays. And these volunteers will help customers answer questions about the trail, restock the store, and possibly help with an occasional administrative task if the store is quiet. In addition, we're thinking about finding some volunteer storytellers, and this is kind of fun. We recognize how important our SHTA community is in sharing the story of the trail, whether it's through writing, videos, photos, art, in trail logbooks, or engaging on social media. The association is exploring the option. So we haven't decided to do this yet, but we're exploring the option of creating a storyteller volunteer opportunity, and we would like to hear your thoughts on the matter. So if you have ideas on what a storyteller volunteer opportunity could look like, please send them to info@superiorhiking.org with the subject Storyteller Ideas. And this is different than the previous email. This is a different one. So this is info@superiorhiking.org, and the subject line should be Storyteller Ideas. Now, we almost always say no experience necessary because there are opportunities to learn at every work party, and we're thrilled to have everyone come out. There are a few opportunities, though, where we offer specialized training. And so because we say that no experience necessary, but you're welcome to join us on any of the projects that we've mentioned tonight. But if you're feeling a little tentative, a great way to find out about what it's all about is to join us for an Introduction to Trail Work class. Experienced crew leads will be on hand to explain how to use tools and give you some pro tips on basic trail maintenance tasks. And it's a slightly shorter day. While we don't have any scheduled right now, we will likely post one or two later this summer. So another good reason to be signed up for boots on the ground. Each spring, we offer first aid and CPR trainings for our active volunteers. Due to the high cost of these trainings, you must have contributed hours to SHTA's volunteer program in either 2024 or 2025. We are particularly looking for folks who are willing to be swampers at our clearing weekends to become first aid and CPR certified, because each SAW team must have at least one swamper who has that qualification. There will be 2 classes in the Twin Cities and 2 in Duluth. We have a few spots left. If you have volunteered in the last 2 years and are interested in attending first aid this spring, please contact info@superiorhiking.org. And again, that is the info@superiorhiking.org email address. The Duluth first aid classes are March 28 and 29, and in the Twin Cities will be April 11 and 12. First aid and CPR is not required to come out and volunteer on any event. So if you're new to volunteering with SHTA, come on out this year. And if first aid and CPR is interesting to you, come out this year and you can qualify to go to our training next year.
So we've mentioned trail clearing, and we've mentioned swamping. So in order to a little bit more information on that and chainsaw use, is that if in order to operate a chainsaw on the SHT, you need to obtain the required trainings and certifications, which are an 8-hour chainsaw training course with a field proficiency test and the basic first aid and CPR certifications. Once you've taken the course, you need to recertify with another 8-hour class every 3 years and a field certification. First aid and CPR, unfortunately, need to be renewed every 2 years, which never works out. But you have to stay on top of it and maintain those 2 certifications in order to operate a chainsaw on this Superior hiking trail. So the SHT hosts chainsaw training classes every year in various locations, typically in April of every year. Occasionally, there might be a class offered up the North Shore or somewhere else. So there's tends to be a lot of interest in receiving chainsaw trainings. since it's fairly expensive to provide these trainings, both the chainsaw and first aid CPR are offered by the SHTA at no expense to volunteers, which is a huge bonus. But we like to reserve it for dedicated SHT volunteers. If you're new to volunteering with us, we ask that you first volunteer at a few projects or perhaps become a swamper, which is a great way to kind of see what it's like working on a saw team. And a swamper, if we haven't mentioned it already, is the person who accompanies the sawyer and helps clear the cut vegetation off the trail. Um, and so, I mean, chainsaws are a huge component of trail clearing, but as you can see here in this picture, they are oftentimes used at projects as well for construction and things like that. Um, but no matter what you're involved in, you need to have the training and certification. So, um, if you're interested, please let us know about getting on a waiting list. And if you've already volunteered with us previously, we'll try and get you in the class.
And this is a really exciting opportunity. This year, SHTA, the North Country Trail Association, and the Border Route Trail Association are offering a trail skills training in Solon Springs on September 18th to 20th. And we'll be offering volunteers a chance to learn everything from how to cut brush back on a trail corridor properly to how to build rock steps. So, have I mentioned boots on the ground? So you do want to be signed up for Boots on the Ground because that's where you'll find registration information for this opportunity later this spring. And we're hoping to have 100 people, 100 volunteers there learning trail skills. So hoping you'll join us there. Sign up for Boots on the Ground and you'll get that registration information. Now we have a few things about safety and about how to sign up.
So, if you attend a Superior Hiking Trail project, here are some things that you can expect to take place or to do. Um, we take safety really seriously, and um, aside from teaching people proper ways to do things and getting them the training, if that's applicable, we also require that people wear all their personal protective equipment or PPE, as you'll commonly hear it people say. And that includes gloves, hard hat, eye protection, ear protection, and usually like long sleeves and pants and closed toed shoes. We have a hand washing station that is typically set up in the campsite. So when you come back from working out in the dirt all day, you can wash your hands before dinner. We have signs at the work site warning trail users that volunteers are working, and those just kind of help minimize any surprises. Um, and you should bring your own gloves, wear long pants and closed-toed shoes, as I mentioned, and especially bring your own lunch and water. Certain tasks will require leather boots, but not all tasks. So be sure to read and follow any instructions for each project that you sign up for. The instructions may be slightly different.
And SHTA will provide the things like hard hats, hearing protection, and eye protection. And while it's great if you can bring your own gloves, we do have some of those sitting around too. So most of the events we talked about earlier are already available for registration. To sign up, go to superiorhiking.org. And then there are a couple of things that happen there. You can either, there's just a big long, there's a big register here thing right in the middle of the page. That brings you to a big long list that's all by date. If you want a little more information, you can drop down a little further. You'll see one that says trail renewal events. And you can click on that, and that will have descriptions and dates kind of lumped together by location rather than by date. And then there's also the Duluth area trail maintenance and weed whipping section, which will have they will be divided out in there as well. So superiorhiking.org/volunteer, and then just kind of browse through and you'll find several ways to register. You can also go to superiorhiking.org/calendar. Everything's there as well. But our volunteer page is a little better set up for you to browse through things. Email volunteer@superiorhiking.org if you can help in these areas. Trail ambassador, cook and camp hospitality, office and store. Remember that if you are interested in the storyteller, that goes to info@superiorhiking.org. Just remember also that, so there'll be links on the volunteer page to register. When you register, you'll get a confirmation email. That will give you it'll give you driving directions. It'll give you, everything except the camping information, which if you're signed up for a multi-day event, we'll send the camping information closer to, usually within about a week or so before the event. And we let people camp from the night before the event starts until the last night the event ends. So you can work the last night, stay overnight, and then at the campground, and then go home the next morning if you choose. We would send out that camping information a week or so ahead of time. If you register for an event, you are automatically guaranteed a spot in our camping. If the event is full, please put yourself on the wait list. We do have cancellations every year for every event. So put yourself on the wait list, and it's an automated process. If someone cancels, the first person on the wait list will get an opportunity to register. And if you have problems registering, please email me at volunteer@superiorhiking.org. And for the next week or so, I will be out of the office. Go ahead and email info@superiorhiking.org, and they will try and work it out for you. And like I said, if you're interested in any of the other things, give me a note at volunteer@superiorhiking, and I'll get back to you in a couple weeks. And did I mention sign up for Boots on the Ground? You'll find that sign up on our volunteer page, superiorhiking.org/volunteer. Well, that's most of the information we have for you tonight. We do have a question and answer coming up. Before we do that, we want to thank those who help make our trail maintenance work possible: the Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund and the Lloyd K. Johnson Foundation, and of course, most of all, SHTA members, donors, and volunteers like you. And so now on to our Q&A. Feel free to drop things in the Q&A, and I will answer them, or Tamer. And the first question that we have tonight is, when we talk about camping, are you speaking of a backpacking site or an adjacent state park? If you sign up for one of our multi-day events that is not a backpack trip, okay, so we've got those backpack teams. Let's set those aside for a moment. If you sign up for a multi-day trip that is not a backpack team, then we rent campground space somewhere. Places like Finland State Forest Group Camp, or a state park, or the Grand Marais Municipal Campground. So it's someplace that you can drive up to and take your tent out of your car and set it up right there. The longest place we usually have to walk is about 500-600 feet. So they're not backpack-in sites, they're just regular campsites. Now, if you are going on one of the backpacking trips, the backpacking teams, then that is actually, those will be at our backcountry campsites. And there was a question, is there an option to use a small travel trailer, or is it just tent camping? That depends on the event. Most of ours are strictly tent camping or sleeping in your car, the camp the parking at most of the group sites that we use is very limited, and not set up for travel trailers, even small ones like Scamps or the Teardrops. There just isn't enough parking. You can always ask, if you register for something and you say, I do have it, you can always drop a note to volunteer at superiorhiking.org, and I can tell you if where we're going will take a trailer. Otherwise, you would be responsible for getting a site for your own trailer. Do you need your own chainsaw to be a sawyer? Um, yes, we do prefer that you have your own chainsaw. We really don't have, Tammer has two chainsaws that he regularly uses that once in a while he can loan out, but mostly it's if you're going to be a sawyer, you do need your own chainsaw. So good questions, folks. Have you gone to battery chainsaws, getting away from gas and the things you need to pack in to go with it? Um, Tamara, do you want to take that one?
Sure. There's some people that have transitioned to battery powered saws, and battery technology is really improving, and so battery saws are a viable option. Um, they do need to still kind of have the same safety features that a gas chainsaw has in order to be considered safe to use, but any reputable brand and will have those. But it's kind of it's a matter of preference. Some people really love the battery saws for all the reasons. um, Other people, myself included, are not really quite sold on them. While I think they're great, it a lot of times seems like um, people will say, "Well, I got the trail cleared, except for the few bigger trees that I couldn't get through with the smaller saw." Um, that being said, it's pretty easy to run out of gas too. So it really comes down to a matter of personal preference and what you may already own. Before we kind of move on, I was just gonna say a word or two about the camping because there were a lot of questions about that. And I wanted to say that at a lot of these sites, we don't really guarantee things like showers and internet or Wi-Fi or cell service. But a lot of the sites do have showers, and a lot of them do have cell reception or other options like that. But um, if you have any specific questions like that, based on where we're staying, feel free to ask, and we a lot of times we'll have the answer because we stay at a lot of the same places every year.
Yeah. Thanks, Tamer. That's a good clarification. Okay, next question. For the Blue Blazing, this seems like a newer initiative. Is there any option to just sign up for certain sections ahead of time and do it throughout the year and report along the way? Um, the last time we did a major blazing project was about 10 years ago. But now going forward, what we're hoping to do is something just exactly like that. We're hoping that we can divide up the trail into a number of sections and then have people who are on their own time going out when they want to go out to the sections and blazing and just reporting in. That's exactly what we want. Um, what we need to gather first is the names and contact information of all those people who want to um, blaze, and then we will contact all of those folks with some sort of sign up sheet or something like that. We haven't quite figured it all out yet, like I said, watch for that in Boots on the Ground when we finally get a sign up sheet going, and some training and that sort of thing. For those of you who have not done it before, watch for that in Boots on the Ground and then sign up when that comes up. For one of the multi-day projects that are not backpacking trips, can we sign up if we need to know we have to miss half a day? Oh, well, here's the good thing, and thanks for asking this question because I neglected to say it earlier. These multi-day projects that are not backpacking projects, those are you can sign up for, while we love to have you there for multiple days because it increases our efficiency, you can sign up for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, all 5 days. Um, what we do ask though is that you do not sign up and then come only for 1 half day. So you have to miss half a day, but let's say there's a 5 day project and you can come to 3 of the days, then be there all day, then just sign up for those 3 days. It's very difficult to walk somebody out in the middle of the day or go pick somebody up and walk them back in. And for safety reasons, we have to, be together as a group. And so it really kind of takes away from the work that other people are doing if you're only there half a day. So sign up when you go to the multi-day projects, it'll pull up a whole checklist of you can sign up for, you can check the days that you want to be there. So only check the days that you can be there all day. How long is a typical workday? Great question. Most of our work days are 8:30 to 4:30. We take a good, nice lunch break in the middle of it. We also encourage people to work at their own pace and take all the breaks that you need. So you should stop and drink and eat and take bathroom breaks and all of those things. We want you to work at your pace and be and have a good experience. So that's the typical workday is. Now that changes. The weed whipping is a little different. Those days are shorter. The ones during the day are about 6 days, and the one in the evening are 3 to 4. Or pardon me, the ones during the day are about 6 hours, and the ones in the evening are 3 or 4 hours. So most days are 8:30 to 4:30. For the backpacking trips, is there a brief group Zoom call a week or so before to go through the details of the project and camping situation, etc.? There is not. I will send a pretty detailed email out to that group. But certainly, if you are interested in more information than is in that email, we can set up some sort of communication. So that's a good question. But so far, no Zoom calls. Not saying we couldn't do them if it's needed. If you go on a waiting list with a friend, is it a bet to put both of your names on the same line so you both get pulled off the waiting list at the same time, or keep lines separate? Okay, because we have a good question. All of these are awesome questions. Because we have an online waiver, every person has to sign up separately. And so you wouldn't be able to put both names on one line. However, if you are on a wait list and you're signing up with a friend, drop me a note at volunteer@superiorhiking.org and let me know that's the situation. And I will do what I can to make sure that if there's a wait list situation that you can both get on. Doesn't always work, but I do try. So just if you're signing up with a friend, give me a holler if you're on the wait list. Section adopting opportunity question. Where is the current list of available sections? Also, is it like Adopt a Highway in which I can put a sign up with my name on it? Kidding, of course. We have no current list of available sections because we are generally 100% adopted, except right now I have confirmed with the coming year's adopters who's coming back and who's not. But there's a whole bunch of shuffling that happens in that process. And so what happens is instead of putting out, because we already have a wait list, instead of saying these sections are available, we go to our wait list and we say, okay, I have this section. And then I see, who has been on the wait list the longest. Is that a section that they're interested in? And then we'll send out an email offering that section to that person. And so it isn't, unfortunately, you can tell me when you sign up on the wait list what sections, what general sections, like you only want the northern 30 miles of the trail, right? Or you only want anything around Gooseberry State Park, or or anywhere on the trail because you're not fussy and you just want to be out there. Then I will match those up. It's just a big jigsaw. So, and excellent question about names on it. Um, we do not put any sort of identifier on the trail anywhere honoring people. That is just a policy that the SHTA has had to keep the wilderness experience as wild as possible. We know that we've got to see human things out there and some wayfinding signs, but we try to keep all other signage to a minimum. Um, okay, can you go back over where there was a need for people who are CPR and first aid certified? I already am and could potentially help in that role. Those are the swampers. Those are the folks who support the Sawyers on our clearing weekends. There are two, and also on individual signups. So you can go to our webpage and find the clearing weekends to sign up for. And you can go there and sign up as a swamper when you're, and you can sign up as a swamper if you're not CPR and certified. It's just that we need at least some of our swampers to be CPR and first aid certified. So we have some that are and some that aren't, that are swampers, but we definitely need some that are, because every SAW team needs at least one swamper that has CPR and first aid certification. So that is where you would need to sign up, go sign up as a swamper. If you are willing to be a swamper and go out with individual groups that are not they are the ones that Tamara was talking about, where they have a sign-up sheet, they go have a section, they go out on their own time. If you're willing to do that, drop me a note at volunteer@superiorhiking.org. Say, this is my name, this is my contact information, and I am willing to be on that list that goes out whenever somebody needs some help. So those are the two ways you can be a swamper. And that's where we need CPR and first aid certification. And here's a question I don't have an answer for exactly. The Grantiverse is a big trail running event on the SHT. Are they a sponsor of the trail? I am not the development human. I am very sorry. I don't have an answer for that. You can contact info@superiorhiking.org and probably get an answer to that question. Can minors volunteer on the trail with their guardians? Excellent question. Thank you. Yes, any person 12 years to 17 years old can volunteer on the trail as long as they are with a parent or guardian. So we found that the days are too long and the work is not quite right for youth under 12. So we do ask all youth to be 12 and older. Is there a deadline to sign up for events? If an event has openings, can we sign up the day before? I think the events are scheduled to come down 2 days before, simply because it helps us not have too much chaos. So preferably you would sign up. It's possible that you might find a way to sign up the day before. Just know we might not get you all the information that you need, because I might send out things 2 days ahead, and then I might not see the last day signed up, but you could sign up the day before. And then if you don't feel like you have all the information you need, drop me a note. And if I'm in the office that day, then I would answer it. Some really good questions. Thank you. I do believe I'm going to give a call out. Let's just hang tight for about 30 seconds and let folks drop any last questions that they have in the chat. This has been a great questions, folks. And thank you all for being here tonight, for spending some time listening to what's coming up, for helping create all of the excitement that happens around these fun projects. The community that is formed on trail projects is unique and wonderful, and I love watching it happen. So I hope you'll all come out and join us on a project this year. And that said, I don't see any more questions coming into the Q&A. So,
There's a couple.
oh, go ahead. Did I miss some? Oh,
There's some
yes.
new ones. So
Go for it, Tamara.
we got a we got a question that says, do you get to join any cruise this year? I'm not quite sure what that means
Oh,
exactly. Do
I
you?
think I think that's maybe for me, Tamara.
Oh,
I
okay.
am gonna
Oh,
be on the all fin puncheon crew. Um, and so do I get to? Yeah, yeah. That's I'm on the all fin puncheon crew, and I'm on the first day of the other non-backpack crew. So I'll be out a little bit. Tamer, on the other hand, he that answer for him is he's pretty much there all the time. So that's great. Should we assume no bathrooms available for backpacking events? Tamer, do you want to take that?
well, at any project, really. If you're near a campsite, working near a campsite, there will be the latrine at the campsite that you can use. Typically, when you are working on the trail, generally you're not close enough to a campsite to make use of the latrine. So you have to make do with the forest, and we, ask that people, follow proper techniques for relieving themselves in the woods, whether it's uh, you know peeing or pooping. So we go over that in more detail at each project, but a lot of times, like we encourage people to try and take care of any business like that before the day begins. But inevitably somebody will need to to that schedule won't work out. So
Right.
usually we recommend that people bring toilet paper and be prepared to use the natural cover.
That said, wherever you are staying at night, campsite or campground, there will be a latrine at campsites if you're on a backpacking trip, and there will be either outhouses or porta potties or flush toilets if you are at a campground for a multi-day event. So it's just during the day where you will be too far to get to those. And I love ending this webinar on a potty question. Thank you for that. It's great. Um, so, uh, thanks so much for being here, and we will see you on the trail this summer.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.